So in this video, I'm going to explain the truth about negative people. And if you understand this, you're going to actually feel a lot better about dealing with them. And also, you're going to understand why you should not react to them. So first, when we're talking about negative people, right? This is usually people who are, in a bad mood or giving off bad vibes, bad energy. How do you deal with these people? And for you, like I'm assuming if you're, a more positive person, you don't want to let these people affect you negatively, right? Like you want to protect yourself. So in order to do that, you need to understand these people. You need to understand why or what is happening when they are in that negative headspace. And the honest truth is that when they are being negative, they are already suffering, right? Like no one who is ever negative is happy inside, right? They're clearly unhappy. Like think about for yourself whenever you're like being negative or in a bad mood or just like, complaining or whatever, like you're clearly not happy and not peaceful inside. So you're the one who's already suffering in that situation. So therefore, if you're on the receiving end of this, if you understand this, like understand that they're already suffering, that kind of makes you feel kind of compassionate towards them, right? You're like, oh, they're clearly not feeling good inside. And you don't have to accept that, right? Like you don't have to take that on into something that's going to be a part of your inner experience. You can just look at that from the outside and be like, okay, that's their reality and they're just projecting it onto me, onto their external world. But I don't have to accept that as part of my reality by reacting, right? I'll get to the reaction part later. So you might think like, okay, sure, I could respond compassionately or whatever, but like what if this person's just like doing me wrong? Like they're just saying all these things or like they're doing something that's like, really bad intentions. Like shouldn't I stand up for myself and protect myself in that case? And you know what I have to say to that? So there's something that my dad told me when I was younger that has always really resonated. And first, he said, your reward for being a good person is that you're a good person. And conversely, your punishment for being a bad person is that you're a bad person. I don't know if that made sense. It sounds like super straightforward, super simple, super obvious, and kind of redundant. But let me tell you the story that he told me that like really illustrates this. So in this story, there's a girl and a boy, and they both have a collection of stones. And the boy says to the girl, hey, let's trade each other our best stone, right? So the girl's like, oh, okay, yay, like I get to have his best stone and I'll give him my best stone. So she gives him her best stone. And then the boy gives her a stone, right? And the girl's like so happy. He's like, yay, this is his best stone. And so later on that evening, they both go to sleep. And the girl, when she goes to sleep, she's like really happy because she's like, yay, I got his best stone, right? And so she happily goes to sleep. But then the boy, he didn't actually give her his best stone. He gave her like another stone, but he kept his best stone. But in exchange, he got her best stone. So this boy was clearly like trying to take advantage of her, right? Like kind of like scamming her, getting her best stone, but getting to keep his. And he had bad intentions here. And he thought that he was winning in this scenario, thinking like, oh, now I have like two really great stones, right? But later on, when that boy went to sleep that night, he was like tossing and turning and worrying, thinking, oh no, what if this girl also did not give me her best stone? Like, do you see what's happening here? Like, because the boy had bad intentions, that is going to directly translate into his experience of reality. Like, now he's the one who's suffering, thinking, like, oh, like other people are trying to do me wrong as well. But that's not the reality of what happened, right? The girl genuinely gave him her best stone, and she, she's living in peace because she had good intentions, and she gets to be rewarded by that, by just continuing to be happy and peaceful, knowing that she's doing good. So she kind of assumes and expects other people to do good for her. And boy, he's the one who is suffering and is punished in this situation for being a bad person just by simply experiencing his own bad intentions back to him. Like, does this make sense? Like you may think like, oh, but in this scenario, like objectively, the girl got a worse off stone. But like, do you see how that does not change her experience of reality? Like she still gets to benefit from being happy and peaceful, even if she objectively got a worse stone. Like that part doesn't matter because it's not about what objectively happens and the events that occur in your like objective reality. It's about your experience of those events. And your experience is determined by your perspective of it and your energy and like if you're a positive person, if you're a good person, your reward is that you're a good person. You get to enjoy a good inner experience. You get to enjoy inner peace, inner happiness, like all those good things. And if you're a bad person, then you are just going to have a bad experience in life, like whether or not you're objectively getting good, better quality things happen, or like, does that make sense? Like it doesn't matter if you're getting like objectively better things handed to you. Like your experience is just going to continue being negative because you are a negative person, so you're just going to inherently be punished by that, and your experience of reality is just going to be a negative one. I really hope this sinks in. Like I really hope this makes sense because this is so important. Like if you are a good person, you don't need to worry about other people. You don't need to worry about whether people are doing you wrong or whatever. Just continue being a good person, and you are the one who benefits in the long run just by simply being a good person. Like you get to enjoy the benefits of being a good person. And you are a bad person, like just know that you're not cheating anyone. You're not winning in any way. Like you're the one who ends up suffering in the long run. So like this is just nature, right? Like everything is just going to reflect back to you who you truly are. And I also want to relate this to something that I learned the other week when I was at the Vipassana meditation retreat. So in that retreat, they clearly broke down how suffering is created, like how misery is created and how happiness is created. And it all comes down to the reaction pattern that people have. So if someone is being negative, a lot of times they can't actually control their reaction, right? It's probably because in the past they did react to situations in a negative way. Like if something upsets them, like they may get upset at that. And then in the future, if a similar situation occurs, they will probably be upset again. Like they're basically just conditioning themselves to have this reactive pattern of responding in a negative way. And this is something that, like, when they continuously do over time, it's going to be so deeply ingrained in their unconscious that without thinking, they're just going to react in that negative way, right? So, a lot of times they actually can't really get themselves out of that reaction pattern. And if they're not conscious of it, like if they're not aware of it, they're basically never going to be able to break that cycle. Like, you have to be conscious of this to actually, like, consciously intercept this and break it. And if they're not, like, they're just going to continue suffering, and then it's just they're going to get more and more miserable by continuing to reinforce this misery by reacting in a negative way. And so in this case, if someone does something that's negative, or they're just being negative, and you are on the receiving end of this, if you react in a negative way as well, you are then starting that reaction pattern in yourself. And if you do this once, then it'll be easier to do this again and again and again. And then you're going to start conditioning yourself to react in a negative way. And it's going to make it easier for you to then start being negative, right? And then you're going to be the one who ends up suffering in the long run. Like, you're going to be the one who ends up, just being negative. And why would you do that to yourself, right? Like, you don't want to start this chain. If you're already having this reaction pattern, then you need to, like, keep this in mind. Keep this in mind so that next time something, negative comes in contact with you, you do not want to react. If you react, you're just reinforcing this suffering within yourself just by reinforcing this negativity in yourself. So you need to break the cycle if you want to free yourself, right? And how do you break the cycle? So as I mentioned earlier, you need to understand the truth of what's actually happening. When people are being negative, that's just simply a reflection of their own inner reality, which is that their own inner reality is negative. So they're already suffering. So therefore, like just recognize that and you should feel bad for them. Have some compassion for them. Like I had a friend, she asked me a while back, like she had a really toxic manager who was like putting so much pressure on her, and she said she didn't know how to not feel stressed out. And I just told her like, if he's like that, he's clearly unhappy inside, right? Like he himself is probably feeling a lot of pressure from, I don't know, the work environment and upper management. And he's just projecting that onto you, like putting, like translating that pressure and giving it to you. And you just have to recognize that he's the one who's already suffering in that situation. And he's clearly unhappy. So you don't want to take on that unhappiness for yourself, right? Like, why would you do that to yourself? If you recognize the truth of what's actually happening, which is that this person is unhappy and this person is already suffering because of that, then why would you take that for yourself? So you need to have clarity in these situations. Don't get emotionally caught up in it. Have clarity and see it for what it is. See the truth of what's actually happening, which is that this person is suffering, okay? And I want to share this story that like they mentioned in the Vipassana retreat that I thought was like so interesting. So the Buddha, he's like an enlightened person, and there was like a really angry person who, I don't know, just hated the Buddha and was like so angry that he's I guess all enlightened and peaceful and happy and whatever. And he thought, okay, I'm going to go to the Buddha and I'm going to like throw all this negativity and abuse to the Buddha. So he goes to where the Buddha is, and then he's like prepared to just like, be so angry at him, throw all this abuse at him. And the Buddha, he clearly saw that this person was in a really unbalanced mental state. And he said, young man, if someone comes to your house and brings some gifts that you do not want, what do you do? And the young man says, I do not accept it, right? Like, I just don't accept the gifts. And the Buddha says, right, so you have come to my house and you have brought your gifts of abuse, and I do not accept it. Go away. Like, you keep your own gifts. I don't want it. I don't accept it. Go away. And I was like, wow, yeah. Like, seeing it that way, it just makes it so easy, right? Like, anytime someone is being so angry and they're trying to like trigger you in a way, they're trying to upset you so that you can suffer with them. But you know what? You can just be like, this person is trying to give me a gift of negativity. They're trying to like gift me their anger or their bad intentions, and I don't have to accept it. You don't have to accept it. You can just be like, no, thank you. I don't accept that. You can keep that for yourself. Yeah, I don't want it. But I feel like seeing it this way, like seeing people's negativity as something that is theirs, like this is something they have, and you don't have to accept it. You don't have to react to it. You can just look at it for what it is, see that this is something that they are carrying with them and they are suffering because of it. And you don't have to react to it. You don't have to take it as part of your experience. You can just not accept it. I know it's a lot easier said than done because, for me, it's easy for me to react to any negativity because of old reaction patterns, right? But the more and more I maintain this awareness and keep this thought in mind whenever those happen, the easier and easier it will be to kind of like stop myself from continuing this reaction pattern. And the more you do that, the more you start reinforcing a new reaction pattern of just remaining at peace whenever this happens, or just remaining positive or remaining equanimous whenever other people are bringing negativity and projecting it onto you. So yeah, I hope that helps. Bye.